Yeah,
No, actually, I only say the ones I listen
because
to.
I've listened to quite a few. I would rather, like, I would actually take his worst songs as an album over Drake's latest album right now.
That's wild.
Yeah,
That's wild.
I would take the worst songs on that album.
That's wild and very disrespectful. I would not like to repeat that again.
I'm speaking my truth.
I'm not here. We speaking earlier about I was talking about 20s and going through our 20s.
Indeed.
And the things you will encounter. Yes. And there was something we mentioned before we started about being yourself. We spoke about that, and I know you spoke about that as well.
Mm-hmm.
Should you be yourself?
Mm-hmm.
But I don't exactly remember your stance on it.
My stance
or your question about it.
On just being yourself.
Yeah.
I think
around people.
Yeah. I think my point on I kind of have this gripe with the advice of just being yourself.
Just be. I remember it now.
Yeah.
Just be you.
Yeah. I think it's really terrible advice for a plethora of reasons. One is it's extremely vague advice. Mm-hmm. First of all, it's not helpful. If I tell you to just be yourself, that doesn't, like, what are you going to do with that? I
still imagine me doing the same thing I was going to do.
Yeah,
before
I was
you
like
said
that. I was like, what is that? How does that help you? And I think one thing as well is just like a lot of us don't really know ourselves that well enough to really just be like, if the answer was just be yourself and that was a good enough answer, you wouldn't need to ask me what to do. You wouldn't ask me for help because you'd be like, yeah, I'm just gonna, like, you'd be solid enough to just do it. But yeah, I think it's like very vague advice. And I think, one, a lot of people don't know who they are, first of all, well enough. And I think secondly, sometimes being yourself because of where you are right now is probably not a good idea. That might not actually be the best idea for you right now. Because maybe right now, unfortunately, for some of us in our current state, not great. That's okay. That doesn't mean you can't change. So I think like sometimes you tell people to just be themselves and like that's not the best advice. And on top of that as well, I think as well, the advice of just be yourself can give people the agency to continue just being sucky.
Yeah.
I'm sure you've encountered instances or scenarios where you talk to someone and you're like, hey, you shouldn't do that. And they're like, that's just me. Like, that's just who I am. And you're like, that doesn't mean like you should just continue. And I've definitely encountered that a few times where I'm like, you shouldn't do this. Like, this is considerably, I'd say, a pretty toxic or terrible thing to pattern of behavior to continue. And they'll be like, that's just who I am. And I don't think that's.
Is there ever a moment where it's good to deceive?
Good to deceive? What do you mean?
So, let's say we're meeting for the first time and I put on a front that isn't necessarily me.
I don't think
so. I'm not being myself.
Maybe not put on a front, but aspire to be the best version of yourself in that scenario.
It's very specific.
What do you mean?
It's very specific. If for someone to go out in life in every scenario that they're in to think about trying to be their best self. If
you're not aiming to do that in every scenario, then why wouldn't you aim to do that in every scenario in life?
I don't think people just floating. Other people's thinking about it like that.
There's a lot of things people don't think about that they should.
Yeah. But so with this be yourself, I was thinking about it and I was thinking, as like for the past year, 2 years, I've been thinking about who I choose to be myself around.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm very selective with that anyway. I have been for a while. But I was...
Well, who you choose to be yourself around. So you're saying that usually you aren't being yourself is what you're trying to say?
No, I myself, but depending on who I'm with depends on the layers that are revealed.
Mm-hmm.
You know? So, for example, when we're having a conversation, there's a lot more layers open and revealed than there is with someone who I just see around uni. And we're just having small talk. So I'm myself, but I am not being the same myself than if I was with a good friend. Which is what we do anyway.
Yeah. But I mean, like, is your behavior changing or is it just like you're just not saying as much about you? Are you just like not revealing as much or is your behavior changing though?
My behavior's not changing.
So isn't that just...
Well, my behavior changes, but not because I'm not trying to be myself. My behavior just will change because I'm acting differently.
Okay.
But I'm understanding that within people that you know in your life, this is normal, this would happen. You can't act the same around every single person in your life. I don't think that is really...
Why not?
Well, because there are certain people in your life that... It's like you shouldn't act the same way you act around your mum than you do with your friend.
What? Why not?
Because the context of relationships are very different.
What is it that you're afraid to show your mom or your friends that you're okay with showing the other one? Why can't you do that?
It's not that I'm afraid to show. It's that the way in which me and my mom communicate is different to the way in which me and my friend communicate.
Okay.
The structure is different. As it should. This is my mother who gave birth to me and raised me.
Why should it be different? Why can't you just talk to your mother like you talk to your friends? Obviously without just, obviously without disrespect, but just talk. Why does it have to change?
Well, because it is two different relationships. That is the mother who's given birth to me, who's raised me since I was a child. The relationship you can imagine would, and that's a more extreme version than any other thing.
Yeah, look, I could understand if you were talking about I'm not going to talk to a family member like I would talk to a partner. Fair, obviously, flirting with your family, big no. That's totally okay. But why can't you talk to your mother like a friend?
See, now when you word it like that,
is that not what you were saying though?
When you word it like that, no. I just feel like in life you have to pick and choose. You have to pick and choose.
Pick and choose what?
You can't give the same amount of yourself to every single person.
Not the same amount, but you can be the same person in different doses.
Whether that's come across, I don't mean changing your character.
Okay, what do you...
Behaving differently.
Okay, so explain.
I mean that giving yourself revealing layers. You can't reveal the same amount of layers to every single person in your life.
Yeah, so you mean you're not going to walk up to a stranger and be like, hey man, I have these 5 terminal diseases. How are you doing today? Or
even not even strangers, people that are just around.
Yeah, I feel like that's just more No, explain. I don't think I get actually explain. No, I don't think I get it.
Okay. So Squid Game?
That would be great if either of us watched that. That'd be a great
if
pivot.
either of us watched it.
Unfortunately, I think we're stuck here.
I'm trying to... How do I explain this? Not everyone's worth your time.
Okay, so if they're not worth your time, why stay around? Okay, what? Wait, hold on. Not everyone's worth your time. What's the follow? And what's the follow-up to that?
The time I give to a good friend of mine.
Okay.
The amount of energy I give to a good friend of mine, I can't, and I don't believe you should give that to what's the word? It starts with A. I have many of them in my life. Acquaintance.
Yes.
The time and energy you spend giving to a good friend, you can't, and I don't believe you should give that to an acquaintance.
Yeah, relationship should be reciprocal. So yeah, I would agree. Relationship should be reciprocal. If the acquaintance is not, if your relationship with the acquaintance is not one in which they give you this amount of energy, and if your energy is matching each other's energies that you're giving to each other, I think that's fine, right? I think relationship should be somewhat reciprocal, right? Otherwise, it's a bad relationship.
So what I'm trying to say is, I think it's okay to not be yourself with different people. It's okay to shift and rearrange your room depending on who is in your room.
Why? I don't think so.
Because not everybody needs to know about the way your room is.
If you have something you don't want to show the people in your room, why would you keep it out?
If you have what?
If you have something in your room you don't want to show to people, why keep it out?
Why keep it out?
Yeah, why keep it out in the open?
Well, because it's mine and it's my room. Okay, so and there are certain people that I don't mind them seeing it.
Okay, so if you don't want this person to see the specific thing in your room, why should they be allowed in your room in the first place?
Well, because there's other things in the room that I don't really care about them seeing. That's what I'm saying. There's levels.
I would say a house is a better analogy for what you're
Okay,
going
house.
for.
I meant the room as in bigger than what you think. Okay, let's say a house.
Okay, I agree with that, but that doesn't. So I agree with that, right? Let's say a stranger comes in and they need help. I'd allow them to be in my living room, right? But I might allow a partner to be in my bedroom, but not allow them to be in my bedroom because the bedroom.
And that's just an example.
But I'm not changing the living room or the bedroom for who's in them. I'm not. A partner walks to my room, my living room. I'm not going to change how it looks for the partner.
Okay, that's a better analogy. Because when I said room, it's
right,
one room.
Exactly.
Okay, so
I'm
house
not going to change the living room for a partner or my mom or a friend.
Right,
the living room will stay the same.
So a house
but different people are allowed in different parts of the room because our relationship has allowed us to share those different parts.
Okay, cool. So a house is a better analogy for that.
Yes. You're welcome.
So yes, but I'm understanding that it's okay for that, because before I thought that
everyone should be allowed to see the bedroom.
Right, I thought that it should be like that. Everybody should have the same access to you.
Yes,
and so I shied away from everyone. I shied away from all of that because I didn't want to. I'm naturally more private and introvert, so I didn't want anyone to be in my house.
Mm-hmm.
And then I starting to get old and connect more and have more good friends around me. I started to realize, actually, no, wait, you can pick and choose in your sense because it is your house.
Yeah,
you can pick and choose who you want to let in and where they allowed to go.
Yes, yeah, of course.
And I'm starting to understand and accept that that's okay.
Yeah, based upon your relationship, you've earned different places, and you'd hope that the person who's allowed in your bedroom you'd be allowed in their bedroom.
Yeah, of course,
right. Of course.
And that's a whole nother aspect of that. You need to make sure that it's going both ways.
Yeah, otherwise it's not fair.
Yeah,
not a good relationship.
Right. So we got there in the end. All right, that makes sense. We
did get there. But so what I was saying is, what I was trying to get at is you shouldn't change the furniture.
Yeah, no,
the furniture should stay the same.
Yeah. No matter so with the room one, I had it phrased differently. Yeah,
so
you wouldn't.
So what you're trying to say is you're not going to share. You're not going to walk up to a deep stranger and share all your deepest interpersonal fears. But you're not going to change the way you act. You're not going to be happy and high energy or whatever your energy is with one person and then be like, no, now I'm a completely different energy. Yeah. Okay, that's fine. No. Yeah, I agree with that. We're all on the same page.
So yeah, cool. We got there in the end.
Yep.
I thought for a second I was going crazy.
Conversations, it's hard.
But necessary. Yeah. Oh, so what I was trying to say was that I was saying that I was getting around to actually understanding and accepting that that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
For you to pick and choose who you allow in your space and who you don't.
Yep.
That's okay. Because like I said, at first I thought I couldn't, that everybody needs to be in the same. I don't know why I thought that, but I thought everybody needs to be in the same.
Needs to be able to go
right.
To
I need my friends, all my friends, the people I would call friends, all need to have that same sort of access.
Yeah.
And now I understand and realize it's okay. And that is very much how I live my life now.
Yeah. No, I get that. Yeah, I think I was at a point where I don't think anybody ever saw the basement or the bedroom, and then yours. I used to see a lot of people. We're gonna keep going with this analogy, but I used to see a lot of people. It's a good one. But I used to see people who would just who seem to just openly all doors of their house were just open all the time.
And I'm like, what are you doing?
I don't even know how people do that.
I don't know you. Why are you letting me? I don't want to see this.
Yeah, I'm sure you've met those people who are just like,
they've let me in, and I'm thinking
where all the doors are just wide open. Like, you're just looking around.
They've introduced me to the front door, but the kitchen's wide open. I can see all the sinks in the kitchen.
You get into the house. There's a camera showing every room in the house. Yeah, and I used to see those people. Yeah. But being somebody who'd barely let people in the house, I was like, should I?
Yo, it's wild.
Should I have all the doors open? But now I'm like, I don't think so. I think people should earn the right to enter certain parts of the house.
No, it's wild. Like when I see people, they're so just like, I feel like you have to protect what's yours.
Yeah, I think I don't even protect. I think there's certain things. In relationships, I think there are certain rewards that we give to each other that signal different stages of the relationship. In that can be in any relationship. And I think if you give out just every part of the house to everyone, it almost lessens it, because it's like, oh, this isn't for my best friend. Everyone's allowed to see this. And I feel like it starts to, you're just giving away yourself and everything for free. And it's nobody has to really earn anything in the relationship. Nobody has to put in any work. Nobody has to show you any part of their house. That you just it's free reign.
But the funny thing is, when it works to your advantage, that they're just offering up all their rooms to you.
Yeah.
And they're not asking a damn thing about yours. You don't really complain that much.
I'm not gonna pretend like I'm not agreeing with what
right.
you're saying. Yes.
And
yes.
I've been in that situation too.
Yeah, and I think it depends on how close you are with that person that you go, listen, man, you should probably close some of these doors.
Clearly not close enough because I didn't say anything.
Yeah, if you're not close enough and it's like, listen, it's not that deep. You keep doing you. I'm going to keep doing me, but I know you probably should stop doing this. No, for sure.
And that ties back to the other conversation we had a long time ago when we did when the other Kasi talks about being so self-aware about yourself and about what you're doing and about the way you're living life.
Mm-hmm.
Having a relationship with someone and it's not like give and take from both. It's one's just giving and one's just taking. Yeah. And you knowing that this is the case, but because it's in your advantage and you're liking it for the moment, just keep it quiet about it, not saying anything. Especially because they're not asking you. Yeah. And they're not asking you to give them. But like we said on that episode, I'm someone who we are aware of that. I know when that is happening. I'm not just living through that, walking through that blindly. Yeah. I reflect to probably a dangerous degree, but yeah. Which makes it a whole lot worse. Yeah. I think I wonder if like the people who are that open, maybe it's just a fear of being alone in those rooms. Because when you open those rooms now, they're not empty anymore. Like there's someone else there, and maybe like sharing all those problems with everyone can make you feel like you don't have to deal with them as much, even though that may not be true. But it can make sense. You could sort of be preoccupied with someone else in the room. Yeah. Now someone else is there. You have, attention to give something else. Yeah. Rather than whatever's in that room. Yeah. There is something I've been doing I've been posting. I don't know if you've seen it. I've been doing Kasi's top picks. Okay. So it's at the end of the month. I'm a music guy. Mm-hmm. I love music. I listen to music all the time. I listen to so much different music. And I started to at the end of the month now. I've only done it 2 months now. I started in August. So I did August, September. At the end of the month, I post like the top 4 albums or top 4 albums or songs maybe. I haven't done songs, it's all been albums so far. But top 4 projects, should I say, that I've been listening to in that month that I think was the best for that month. Would you have anything to add to that? To top projects I've been listening to? Yeah. Or it could be something top. My top anything? Yeah, that you've been listening to. Oh, okay. Or listening to or being acknowledging and involved in, or not involved in, something you've been paying attention to. So my just top anything? Yeah. Of the last month? Last month. Well, let's say 2 months because we've been away. My top... Something that comes to mind. Something that comes to mind. Okay, my top anything. What has been my top thing of the last few months? I don't know if I'd say that. I don't know if there's really any albums that have been like on my top. I've been listening to just all sorts of music. Like probably most recently, I've listened to a lot. Probably listened to Donda a lot. Have you? Yeah, probably quite a lot. Talk to me about that. About Donda? Yeah. I like it. Are you a big fan of Kanye West? I don't know if I call myself a fan, but I probably have listened to every album he's dropped. So right, yeah. How much of him do you love? How much of a music fan are you? Would you say? I listen to music a lot. A lot of different music. A lot of different music. Okay, cool. Donda, another avenue we talk about. I love it. Mm-hmm. Donda, talk to me about Donda. Yeah, I liked it a lot. Actually, I thought it was the first listen through because it's a long. It's album. It's long. Yeah. So the first listen through, I was like I don't know, but like after like listening to all, like I like it, and I'm just like more of the songs have grown on me. I'm not sure if you noticed though, he's recently because he does this, he's like changed stuff in the album recently. Yes, I've heard. So he's like changed. He's always producing stuff, and he's like changing it up. So there was one of the tracks that had like Chris Brown in it that doesn't have it anymore. And a few other artists have been like moved out. I thought the original one that got released didn't have like it had Chris Brown on it, but it wasn't. I think he did a verse. It wasn't his actual verse on it because he then posted something about Kanye. when the album came out.
Yeah, he was on the one. I think he did like a chorus.
Yeah, he did like a chorus.
He did
Like
just about
chorus.
in it.
Yeah.
But he's not in the chorus anymore now.
Okay.
Yeah, he's not in it anymore. There's a couple artists that have been moved around, but no, I like the album. I think it was good. I think it's been a while. I think the last album of this level that Kanye did was The Life of Pablo.
Yes, that is crazy.
Yeah, I actually went back and listened to The Life of Pablo, and I was like, okay, this album slaps.
It's crazy.
It's a good album. It is really. I was listening to it, I was like, damn,
crazy good. Not every song, but
pretty much
90% of the songs are just
good.
Ridiculous. Who starts an album with Ultralight Beam?
That is such a banger to start.
I don't understand who starts an album like that.
I remember when I first listened to The Life of Pablo.
I was in a trance,
and I was like, I was just like, all right, this is something.
It's crazy. I don't know who starts an album like that. But yes, that is probably, in terms of a project, his most crazy project of recent times.
Definitely. But yeah, I like Donda because I think it was like nice to see him. I felt like it was more Kanye. I think Jesus is King didn't feel very substantive. It was like, it kind of was like, it felt very surface level, and it was nice to kind of see Kanye kind of be more Kanye, kind of actually exploring some of his actual stuff going on, and like it felt like a deeper album. It had like more going to it, and it just sounds great too. So it's just a good listen.
I made this what should I call it?
Assessment.
Yeah, thank you. I was gonna say assumption. I'm tired. I made this assessment of Kanye when he released was it called Yay? And it was about 7 songs on it.
Yeah.
Did you like that?
It was like there's like a couple songs where I'm like, yeah, it's alright.
Yeah, people didn't like it that much. I loved it.
It was okay. I haven't like listened to it too heavy, but
there's only 7 songs. Have you listened to Donda heavy? You haven't listened to Yay heavy?
I don't know, man.
There's like 20 more songs on Donda.
Yeah, but it's just like it's easy to repeat a long album because there's so many songs, so it doesn't get as repetitive as quickly.
So you have listened to it heavy, but you got repetitive and you stopped listening.
What? Yay?
Yay.
No, I've listened to Yay like 5 times.
Okay.
Like 5 or 6 times.
All right, so yes, it was when Yay came out, and I loved Yay.
Yeah.
And I made this assessment of Kanye that at this point of his career, I think back in the day he was more of a rapper. But
yeah.
I think now I don't really have a word for it. But now he's just more of, my assessment of him is that he's more of just vibes.
Yeah.
He gives me, and he works for a feeling now.
Mm-hmm.
More than like in the whole track, more in the whole record, whatever the album is. He works more of trying to get a feeling from it. And I think he always did, but before he also wrote and he could rap, and he focused on rapping too because that was more of the game back then, especially when he was young in his career. He had to work to Well,
he's always been about like, his thing has always been production. That's kind of that's how he got his start, was producing rather than even like rapping. So that's kind of what he's excelled at.
So he's always been good at that. But I think he also patterned that with the writing and the rapping. Yeah, that he definitely, because to become as a rapper, you had to prove yourself.
No, that's not to like say that he's not there. Like he's a good musician as well. But he where he excels beyond other albums is like the production behind each song sounds like phenomenal. But he's obviously a good lyricist too.
Obviously him now being in the stage of his career, being sort of like a legend in the game, he doesn't need to be out here to rap, to try and work hard and try to show he's a rapper. He can focus more on what he really wants to do, which is not really wants to do because he can do both anyway. Mm-hmm. But he can focus more without any pressures of, I need to rap on this song, or these need to be my bars. He can focus more on the production side of it and the producer side of it and just produce that feeling. Mm-hmm. And when I listened to Ye back when it came out, there was just a couple songs in there, specifically Ghost. Was it called Ghost?
What was the song about? Do you remember what he's talking about in the song?
It wasn't. That's what I'm saying. This specific song wasn't necessarily about, like, he hardly had. It was one where Kid Cudi was on.
Oh, that's not. Is that on Ye?
Yeah, that's on Ye.
Are you sure that's not on Kids See Ghosts?
So there's Ye and there's also Kids See Ghosts where they're both on there.
Is it on Ye? Is that song on Ye? Oh my internet not working?
It's called Ghost Town.
Ghost Town.
It says featuring Party Next Door, but Kid Cudi has
a part in it.
a little part. It just doesn't say features him. Ghost
Yeah.
Town though.
Yeah.
That song for me, when I played that, similar to Ultralight Beam when I play Ultralight Beam. For me, when I play Ultralight Beam, like what we're talking about, like just the words that you can't even explain, like how it makes you feel.
Yeah.
When you play it out loud. I get that when I listen to Ghost Town. And in fact, there's actually a video on social media of a guy listening to it and he's not even doing much, but he's just like, he's moving and he's playing a song and his body's just reacting to whatever he's hearing.
Yeah.
And like, I watched the video and I laughed because I felt what he was doing.
Yeah, like that's me.
Yeah, I was like, that is me. And he wasn't necessarily doing anything. He was dancing. He wasn't even really singing the songs, but he would just listen to it and was playing and he was reacting in a way. And I thought to myself, this is really what Ye is about for me. I just want this from him. I want him to make me feel, you know. So now I realize that's what I really go to him for now. But he had all the stuff Kissy Ghost and I didn't really like it. I don't remember Kissy Ghost. I didn't really like that. But his next one after Ye was the what's it called? Jesus is King. Yeah, which was very strong gospel and Christianity stuff. And there's some songs on there I liked because he was with the choir, and I don't think it's not his choir. There's a guy who runs the choir. He just works for them, but I don't know how much input he has in with them.
Yeah, isn't it like the Chicago choir or something like that?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah. So I don't know how much input he has in them in terms of the way they perform and sing and whatnot.
So I'm sure he has to direct it to some degree.
To some degree, yeah. But I'm sure they've been a choir from day. But I felt like they're amazing. So there was a couple of songs in there that attracted me, that I loved. And I have been, to be fair, in all honesty, in the past 2 years, it was when I watched a Tupac film. At the end of the film, there was a part, spoiler alert, there's a part where he dies.
Yo, what?
Yeah, I know. Sorry.
Tupac?
Sorry.
Come on, bro.
And the soundtrack, they play a song at the soundtrack in like his last moments in the film.
Yeah.
And maybe it was because it's a powerful film and I like Tupac. I like him a lot. I've really taken his stuff. So it was a bit more profound to me, just that specific moment. And just thinking about this was his last moment. And he was listening to a song in a car of his last moment. And again, I don't know if this is true or not in the actual moment. Yeah. But the song that played and in the song, well, it was 2 songs really, but it was along the same sort of line. But the song that just played at the end when it was passing in the movie, in the soundtrack, it spoke to me. And I'm one of them guys, when I hear a movie and a soundtrack in a movie, I need to Shazam it.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
I need a song.
100%.
I have like a whole Shazam playlist of like 200 songs that I've just Shazammed from soundtracks. So yeah, I listened to the song and it was a gospel song. When I got to it, I found it quite a famous artist, Marvin Sapp, I believe. So anyone listening to gospel music would know of him. And I love the tune. Even to this day, I love the tune. So that made me go into a bit more of his songs. And he does gospel songs. He's gospel artist. So from that point on, I really started listening to... I've got a small playlist on my phone of gospel music that just brings a little bit of comfort in certain... depending on the song and depending on certain points. So when I hear Jesus King, there's a couple songs on there that I like and I have... but like it's not something I'm going to all the time as a project. And after that, it was I believe it was this one, Donda.
Ye and then no,
Jesus
King and then Donda.
And then Donda, yeah. So this one came out. I was 27 songs. Like, bro, like, because I'm really, my favorite album ever is 10 songs.
Yeah, keep it
my
short.
favorite album is 10 songs.
Yeah,
like quality, not quantity.
Yeah.
But they say with the way streaming services works and right now, it's better for people to put out more songs in the album because you get more streams and whatnot. But I am, the shorter the better. Like I'm like that. My favorite album by Kano is only just 10 songs. So when I saw 27 songs, I was like, okay.
Looks like homework.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I don't want to have to be listening to music thinking, because I love music so much and I want to listen to it, of course.
Yeah.
But I don't want to go like 7 days later and I haven't listened to some of it yet. I just like to play it.
Start to finish.
100%. Get the songs that speak out to me. Yes or no. Yeah. If there's nothing, then I'll leave it and I might come back to it a few months later or a year later, like I did with Childish Gambino's one. With Redbone, that album.
Oh, okay. I forgot what
it's called.
I forgot what it's called too.
I forgot what the album's called.
Yeah.
But when the album first came out, I played it through from start to finish and I was like, what is this? This is crap. And I was slightly a fan of Childish Gambino, so I was just like, took it off, played it through once. Nothing, only the Redbone tune because that was a single. Was cool.
Did you not come back to it?
So that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
So only the Redbone tune, obviously, that was a single. I like that one. But all the others, I was like, crap. And then just randomly, a year and a half later, maybe I came back to it. I thought, let me play it. It's called Awaken My Love.
Yep, that's it.
I just randomly went back to play it. Because it's not that many songs. I mean, I can check it. 11 songs. So it's not that many songs.
That's easy, yeah.
Right. So I must have seen it and I thought, let me check it, go play it again. I have 5 more songs that I love and I saved.
Yeah.
And for the same reason for Kanye gives me that feeling. He ain't really got bars and he's singing them all the songs. It's like an R&B soul album. But so that's what I like to do. Start to finish, pick out the ones I love, and if I love most of them in general, I'll come back to it. If I know that some I don't like, some I do love, I'll save the ones I do love.
Sometimes the timing's just wrong.
Right, sometimes
music is so much about mood.
Yeah.
Sometimes like you listen to an album and it's like maybe you would love the album, but just like not today.
Right.
It's not today is not the day.
Unless it's the only people that I would listen to the album like right then and there in that moment is if it's like a big artist if it's an artist that I really love. So if it was like a J. Cole, a Kano, a Dave, 3 artists that I like, my top 3. If one of them was to release an album, wherever I am, if I'm just waking up or I'm just going to bed, I'm pressing play and I'm listening to the album.
Now I'll wait until I know I've got like some time to just listen through it.
That's what I'm saying. But these are my artists that I love, so I'm doing it.
And for me, especially if it's an artist I love, I'm like,
right,
I want to sit down. All right, let me take a second. Let me appreciate this.
Yeah, I understand that. So that's what I do, right? And if it's anyone else, depending on the mood again, I'll probably just, if it's an R&B soul kind of thing, and I'm waking up trying to get ready in my day, I still might listen to it. But say if it's like an artist who I know is gonna be like hype and whatnot, I'm not necessarily gonna go to it when I'm about to sleep. I'll wait until the next morning when I leave about my day, then I'll play it, Yeah. So 27 songs on the Donda album. Okay, cool. Press play, start listening. First listen, I think I was in bed around this time. I think I was in bed because it came out like on Sunday or something.
No,
it didn't come out like on Friday.
It didn't come out. It came out in in the middle of the week. It was like a Tuesday or Wednesday. It was like in the middle of the week.
Right. So I played it through, and I believe I was in bed at night time because I wasn't doing anything. I literally played it through first time, start to finish.
Okay.
So I was just doing those like background music, but I was picking out ones that I loved and ones that weren't really doing anything for me. And yeah, I do have the whole album saved. There's not one that I didn't like specifically save the ones that I love, but I think it's a good album. I think it is like my assessment of him, what I want from him. The feels like there are songs there that definitely give me a feeling, like songs like Moon, 24 Hour, 24.
Yeah, 24.
Where the choir is in there, crazy. Jonah, that's with Lil Durk and Avori, I think. By the way, his features saved his album for me. If he didn't have his features on this album, this would be trash.
That's how it's always. Even Life of Pablo is the same.
True.
Like,
true.
It's kind of funny about these albums. Like, if you listen to Donda and like Life of Pablo, it's like Kanye is barely in this album. He's like barely here.
There's some songs I don't think he even raps on.
Yeah, I'm like, Kanye is barely in this. For me, it's like a Kanye album is like, all right, we're about to get a bunch of cool artists together. It's gonna be great production. It's gonna be great samples. Kanye will show up like 2 or 3 times, and it'll be a good album. Like, if you listen to those 2 albums, Kanye is barely in there.
Yeah, no, I was listening to it, and like 4 songs went by. But well, I know this guy's
where's Kanye at? Yeah, no, for sure.
But yeah, there are songs that I definitely love in there just for what they mean. And it was interesting, because the Drake album came out similar time to this, like a week later, which is funny. But someone put it to me, I heard someone talking about it and they put it in a funny way. Yeah. I just picked it, fly out of the sky. They said, I'm not to put them 2 together, but they said Drake's album was better, more consistent, but Donda's highs were way higher.
I disagree with the first statement.
So you like Donda's better?
Yeah, I don't think Drake. This was definitely one of Drake's worst.
No, it's not one of us. It's not one of his
It
worst.
definitely was, in my opinion.
It's not one of his worst.
I think it was one.
He has some amazing songs on the album. But that's what I'm saying. This guy produces such consistent level piece of work that anything below a certain level is this is a bit dead. But if another artist released that music, it would be one of their better albums.
Sure. For a lot of artists, maybe. I don't know. I usually defend Drake, and I'm like, I actually really enjoy. I did not.
Yeah.
This was his mixtape.
As a project, there was many songs you didn't like.
Just as like altogether, I just wasn't a fan of it. So his last mixtape, I preferred way more than this.
But they're very similar.
Except the last one was good.
Yo, they're very similar tracks. They're very similar album records. There was supposed to be some of the songs were supposed to be on the same album.
Yeah, I wasn't really vibing with it. I don't think it was one of his better.
Fairs.
I think it like, I don't know. I feel like this album, maybe like it had good production. It sounded good. I just felt like it was really weak lyrically and kind of empty. Like listening to every song, it feels kind of like weak and like empty to it.
It was really weak lyrically.
Yeah, I just felt like the lyrics were kind of empty. So maybe there was like a good flow, but like if you listen to them, I'm like, there's not really much going on. He's not really saying anything.
Did you hear 7 a.m. Bridal Path?
Huh?
Did you hear 7 a.m. on Bridal Path?
7 a.m. on Bridal Path?
Yeah.
What?
I
don't know what that means.
So you didn't listen to it?
I don't remember the name of the song, maybe.
7 a.m. on Bridal Path?
Yeah.
One of the songs on the album.
Is that one of the names of the songs?
Yeah.
Okay, then I don't remember the name of the song.
Okay. I'm just saying, you said...
I listened to the whole album, but it was forgettable. I don't... Like, there's only one song that I remember that I've actually listened to, which is Fair Trade.
Yeah.
With Travis Scott.
Travis Scott, yeah.
Like,
which, by the way, Travis Scott part was irrelevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's a song, End Too Deep with Future. Not The Way to Sexy, the other one, The Future.
Uh-huh.
And Fair Trade, Travis Scott, their verses on them songs were irrelevant. Didn't need.
Yeah, I agree.
But yeah, I think Donda was amazing. But basically the person was saying, which I agreed with, that Drake's album was better in the sense that it was a more consistent level piece of work.
Yeah, consistently bad.
Kanye's, because of course it can be this because it's so long. Mm-hmm. There were some lows, but the ones that were high, that were good, like ridiculous because of his mind of production and whatnot. They were just amazing. Yeah, like the ones you mentioned, like 24 Moon.
Even the lows were fine for me. I would take like
were a couple. I haven't gone back to it because I've only saved the ones that I listened to. Yeah, actually no, I did. I have the whole album. Yeah, no, actually I only saved the ones I listened to.
Because I'm listening to quite a few. I would rather I would actually take his worst songs as an album over Drake's latest album right now.
That's wild.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I would take the worst songs on that album.
That's wild and very disrespectful. I would not like to repeat that again.
I'm speaking my truth.
I'm not here. No.
That's my truth.
That's wild.
Yeah. I wasn't feeling it, man.
That's a wild take. I
don't know. Maybe next month I'll change my tune, but
I believe you will.
I won't say about that.
That's wild. I can't believe you just said that. I'm frazzled. Let's leave Drake's album alone. And this is, I'm not saying that it's amazing, like it's his favorite project, but I think it's a good piece of work. It's a level of consistency I believe he's delivered.
Yeah, it's not like I'm not gonna say it's a terrible album, like in the landscape of all artists, because it's not. But in the landscape of a Drake album, I don't think.
That's what I'm saying though. But that's not.
But it was pretty low, in my opinion, for him.
But just out of curiosity, and I don't imagine you're the biggest Hugh Drake fan. You just listen to his music here and there.
I've listened to quite a few of his albums.
What do you think is his favorite? Your favorite for you?
My favorite? Yeah. I think I liked Views a lot.
Views a lot?
Yeah.
Okay.
Views is probably my favorite of his so far.
Okay, I can understand. I can agree with that. I can see that. I like Views a lot.
I like Views a lot.
So Donda, that is one of the things you've been really getting into.
Yeah, I've been listening to that quite a lot. And then mostly like I've been trying to just find new music, so just like things here and there, whatever I find. I liked that Marvel movie Shang-Chi.
Yes, I haven't watched it yet. But
The album for that I really liked because I listened to a lot of like Asian artists.
No way.
So yeah, like tons, and a lot of them were on that. So like a lot of like Korean artists I listened to, and just
like B2, what's their name?
BTS.
BTS.
No, not like BTS.
Wow.
No,
Just wondering.
no.
They're the only are they Korean?
Yeah, they're K-pop.
Yeah, they're the only Korean.
No, like Korean hip hop artists mostly, and like Korean R&B is the ones that made it onto there. But yeah, a lot of them who like I just was not expecting to be on like a mainstream album like that were on there, so I really enjoyed that.
Are they vibes?
Yeah, Korean hip hop is a vibe.
Swear.
I swear. Give it a chance. A lot of people hear Korean music and they think K-pop. There's like some like good like.
I don't think I've ever heard Korean music.
No, it's good. Like there's like good Korean R&B and Korean hip hop albums.
I was thinking I do need to listen to more music from another language.
Yeah, it's good. It's actually really good. I got into it like Korean hip hop like a few years back, like in like sixth form, and I've just been like finding new artists. They're really good. Yeah, it's worth a listen.
What was he doing to get into Korean hip hop?
I think I just saw like a music video recommended to me on like YouTube once, and I just kind of
it was just a Korean song.
Yeah, and I was just like, this sounds sick, and I was like, cool. And I was like, the bar, like I didn't understand what they're saying, but like the flow sounded dope, and the beat was sick, and I was like, cool, this sounds cool. And I just kept listening, yeah, and yeah, so it was kind of a nice surprise to see an album like that. So just like a lot of Asian artists on there as well, so that was like cool, and it was like a really good album. So I liked that a lot. That was a good album. And then K-pop. Probably in the last 2 months, another album I was listening to a lot was Dave's album, his new album.
Yes,
I really liked that.
I
was really surprised. That guy was like, I liked his other album, but like it was okay for me. But this one, I've been like repeat that.
What? Listen, I've
been rinsing that album.
Like he is, and I say he is, and I'll leave it there. He is.
Yeah, because he really is.
He puts. And this is why I love music so much. This is why I love. That's my top 3 favorite artists are Dave, Kano, and J. Cole.
Yeah,
because they are able to put through musically what I feel and internalize at different points in my life. But they are able to put it through and produce it through musically or lyrically in a way that I've never even thought of putting it through. But I understand it and feel the exact same way.
Yeah,
and that I'll take 100 days over something to play out that goes in a club.
Yeah, 100%.
You know?
100%.
So me just being that kind of person, I loved this Dave out. But at the same time, I do want to hear a beat, and I do want to hear some bars, and I do want to hear you.
He does have some like good like beat.
That's
songs.
What I'm saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm saying.
He's got them like, on that album too. Verdansk,
The Clash, Stormzy, I love
Lazarus.
So I'm saying, so
yeah, there's like
I want to do something. I want to balance.
Yeah,
right?
I think he strikes the balance well.
Right.
Yeah.
So when I don't think people do that really in this day and age. I really do appreciate the art of a project.
Yeah.
I think people forget that because when you go on my music, everything is saved through projects.
Yeah, like
through albums.
Albums, yeah.
Like, but some people's music, they just have 100 different songs all there. I can't do that. First of all, OCD, and second of all, yeah, everything has to be aligned in a certain way.
Yeah.
And second of all, I only listen to songs through like, unless it's like a single I'm here listening to here and there. If it's like mixtapes, EPs, projects, whatever, I listen to it in that format.
Mm-hmm.
And if there's only a few songs that I like off it, then I'll save the few songs I have and delete the rest.
Yeah.
And if there's just 1 or 2 that I don't like, I'll just save the whole thing. And when I'm listening, I might just skip the 1 or 2, or I might go into it. So when people like Dave release albums like this, and you listen it from back. That's why I always listen it from
front to back.
Right. That's how I always listen from front to back. Like the intro for me has got to be good. You've got to set the tone.
Yep.
The outro for me is important.
Yep.
And you have to take me on a
journey.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why I think I won't say Views is my favorite Drake project, but that's why I love Views so much.
Because it takes you on
because
that journey.
I feel like I'm in Toronto, it's freezing.
100%. That's why I loved it, because I was like, if like anytime I'm like, do you know what I like about like Views and albums like that? One thing I like a lot, even less, not even like relating to it. Like I like Kendrick stuff a lot for the same reason. I like it when an artist makes an album and you can understand what it is they are going through, and they have put that through the album there, and it feels like it's all thematic. It feels like for instance, Good Kid, Mad City. Like that's a journey. You are being taken on a trip. You're in Compton now. You're now in. That's where you are, and like, yeah, I love that. It's really good, and it feels like like they're talking about something. Like Views, Drake's talking about the relationships in his life and how how becoming famous has like how that's affected that and all of that stuff. And like Kendrick Lamar's like his latest album talking about how he's struggling with this influence he has as a famous person and the rift that he has from his family in Compton, and how he's now people are looking up to him like but he's still kind of tied to this Compton life. Like there's this track, I think it's America or Triple X, where he's talking to his friend, right, who's like asking for advice because he's like, Kendrick, you're like this wise person, you're like this, you know, you're like this good influence, and he's asking him for advice because his like son was like shot by like an like opposing gang member, and like, you know, Kendrick's like, no, bro, like if I was you, I would like, and he's like talking about how he would straight up just like take him out and like take himself to pull himself to court, and then like he ends the album and he ends the song and he's like, all right, now I'm gonna go tell this story, like talk about gun control, and it's like this like rift, and it's like I love that stuff.
No, it's
so good.
It's safer for me, like journeys. You have to take me somewhere with it. And it's even better when I resonate with it so much, because it's like that feeling of, oh, I'm not the only one.
It's not just me.
This is a thing that everybody goes through, and this lyric or the way he's put it just reminded me of it. Yeah,
Dave does that well.
Right, Dave, Jacob, Kent, all like so many of them.
Mm-hmm.
It's even, I'm trying to think of this line before we wrap it up. So he says, I actually have it here, and it's like, I've never seen someone. This is like on his new album, his latest one. I've never seen someone have a few lines, a few bars that literally represents all males everywhere, in every generation, in every culture, in every part of the world. Every single male in the world can relate to this line.
Okay.
Or these few lines.
That's you're hyping this up.
Right. Tell me if I'm lying. So he says, and I think it's in different places, so I hope it is. I can say it quickly. If I said I was the toughest growing up, I would be lying. I had a fear of getting punched while everybody eyeing. Add to that a constant fear of dying. Not everyone has a constant fear of dying. I kept a tough demeanor on the surface, but was mostly just pretending. Luckily, my bluff was working way more often than not. But sometimes someone pulled my card trying to expose me for a fraud. And with my reputation at stake, I was scuffling just to save face. A couple wins, a couple losses, some broken up too quick to call it. My last, that's irrelevant. But basically what he's saying there is, he's talking about his son, and he says he's got to teach his son to be a man because people are going to try him, you know?
Yeah.
One, that he's Jacob's son, and two, just because he's a boy, as he grows up, he's going to be tried by other boys.
Yeah.
And he's talking about, I wasn't always a big man. I got tried plenty of times. I was trying to be tough and have that, you know, put a tough demeanor, like I'm the man. But I was just pretending. I was putting it on because it's what I felt like I had to do. And sometimes you get away with it, you know. It's like when peacocks, what did they do? When they spread out there, what do you call it?
Isn't it just called peacocking? I think
when peacocks peacock.
Yeah, I know I might be wrong, but I think that's what it's called.
Hey, there's no rules. Yeah. When peacocks peacock, right? It's the same thing. It's a tough demeanor. It's like you're trying to show you're the one. Yeah. I think there's another animal, they stand up and they make themselves really big, which like most animals do that, to be fair.
Like a bear?
Yeah, bear, or I think like apes, chimpanzees do it. They stand up and make themselves really big. Like you're putting stuff to me and trying to show you're the man. And he's saying that's what I was doing. And sometimes it works. The other person doesn't want to try it. I've intimidated them. But sometimes it doesn't. Yeah. They try you, right? And sometimes you got to get into it because now you're in the game. You can't back out now, right? You can't back out of the situation, say, no, I'm sorry. No, they tried you. Now you got to go 100%. And sometimes you get away with it. And he says that people come in and they'll stop it before nothing happens. But sometimes you really got to get in that fight. And I was listening to it and the way he was rapping it and the way he was flowing, and I was thinking, bro, like this is every male growing up in an environment with other males. You're going to be in situations where, because of the way we're conditioned to believe, we have to be, you know, we have to be tough and we have to be strong, we have to be powerful, we have to show that we are. And because we're in an environment with other males, we're going to get tried. Especially when we're with females and when we're not with females. Yeah. When we're not with females, we went to boys' school, you're trying to be the top dog, you're trying to be the top male. You're trying to be the guy that everybody looks at, everybody wants to be like. When there is females, you're trying to show you're the best sort of mate in a sense.
Yeah.
You know, not in that specific primal term, but you know what I mean. You're trying to show you are the best, that counterpart to get involved with.
Yes, the best.
And to do that, right? And to do that, you have to challenge, and you would get challenged. So in every sense, and like the way he worded and the way he put it together was like, yo, we just put together something that every male would understand and can relate to.
Yeah, it's
at one point in their life.
It's that idea of like male culture of like having to prove yourself. There seems to be this constant thing where you always feel like you have to prove yourself. You have to prove
to other males or females.
I think just outwardly, I think there is that feeling, and I feel like I don't know if it ever really goes away. Like, but it's always there under the surface a little bit. I think just like feeling like you have to prove something, and you have to prove that you deserve the title of being a man. Which I think is I think a lot of people are complicated, like very confused on how to deal with that.
It's but there's little things like that you know, people like these artists say, and I'm just like, it's incredible. That Dave album, incredible. That's one of the reasons why I love it so much, because to me it is a project, and I think people are taking that way too lightly now. Some people's projects just sound like 25 songs just put together.
Yeah, I hate that. I don't like
I want to clearly define the outro, like the intro. Like I want it to be clearly seen that this is the intro. This is how you're setting it out. The outro, same thing. Like, the intro, what do you want us to expect from it? The outro, like the intro telling us what you want, like what are your intentions? Yeah. The outro telling us what do you want us to take away? What do you wish we took away from it? You know, the outros are so important to me. And then in the middle of it, it's just the journey, basically. Yeah, I don't mind where you take me. I don't mind if it's all up and then it goes all down, as long as it works. I don't mind if it's all down and it goes all up. I don't mind if it's like this, but I want it to be
things should be connected.
Right.
Like everything should seem like it's all at least thematically connected.
Right.
Should be. It's like this is still related to what this album is about.
Right.
Yeah, and I totally agree. I feel like a lot of albums nowadays are just like somebody just put a bunch of songs together. And this didn't need to be an album. This is just a bunch of singles, and they don't really relate at all.
And that Dave album does it. I'm gonna get him on a podcast one time. I'm gonna get him on a podcast one day.
You're gonna get Dave?
Yeah.
Hey, aim high, man.
We're gonna chat about it. Good taste, Simba. I haven't recognized this side of you yet.
I guess we've never spoken about music.
I don't think we have.
Yeah.
But it only makes sense. It doesn't surprise me.
It doesn't.
It don't.
Oh, that's good.
Yeah, it doesn't surprise me that we would like similar types of music.
Yeah.
Simba, thank you for joining me. Appreciate you. You're here all the time, but on the Kasi Talk segments, I appreciate you being here.
That should happen.
So we'll be back soon, very soon, with a new guest. Stacked guests you would even know. Big names.
Large names.
Big games.
Just guess
whatever. No frames.
Whatever big name is in your head right now.
Sorry, go on.
Whatever large celebrity name is in your head. That's who's going to be on here. Probably. Maybe.
Guys, take care. Enjoy yourselves. I'll let you get to what you're doing. Have a good morning, have a good day, have a good night. Stay safe, stay sweet, stay street.
And survive.
And thrive.
Just survive.
And thrive.